Hello, ladies. Update on day 17. If you don't know me, I'm Amanda Kelder. I'm a Christian weight loss and life coach. And I've been on this journey um, of doing an Advent challenge. No sugar from the day after Thanksgiving until Christmas Day. And at the very beginning, I told you guys I will probably screw up. And I did. So if you didn't see my post on Facebook, or if you don't follow me on Facebook, please go follow me. I'm Amanda Kelder, Called to Encourage. You can search either one of those, you can find me. And I shared with everybody on my business page that I screwed up. This weekend, I not only had sugar once, but I had it twice. Now, I said I would fill you in on all the details in this video, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you why it's not a big deal and why I'm actually really glad I did it, and what you can learn from it, okay? And so I decided to title this video like the fall, even though it wasn't really a fall. I may have stumbled, but I didn't completely fall. I did not slide down that tube of self-sabotage, which often happens when we do stumble. So I did have sugar this weekend. The first time I had it was Friday night. We were out. My daughter had her birthday party and we were bowling and we got all the kids pop, and I didn't have anything. I ended up having some pizza, but didn't really eat all that much. And we were getting close to the end, and I didn't even think about it. Didn't even occur to me. I poured myself some pop, mostly just to get the ice, and I took a swig of pop, and I'm like, wait, I'm not having any sugar. Why am I drinking this? Plus, I don't even know the last time I had pop. Oh, by the way, I'm from Minnesota. We call it pop. You may call it soda. So soda or pop, whatever you call it, I haven't had it in, I don't even remember how long. And I didn't even want it. I was just so thirsty and I didn't bring in my water. So a lot of things to learn from that. One, I totally should have just asked for a pitcher of water from the beginning, when that's what my kids were asking for by the end anyway. They like to have a little bit of pop or soda every now and again, and I don't mind them having it. But I should have just asked for that pitcher of water. And two, like, I was so busy thinking about all the kids and what they were doing and getting stuff like situated that I didn't even think about what was going in my mouth. And this often happens to us. We just fall back into kind of those old habits and just have whatever because it's available. And so in situations like this, I recommend my clients, one, don't beat themselves up. And I didn't. I was like, oops, had it, gonna stop. And I did. I stopped at that one swig. I didn't drink anymore, and I was done. And I didn't go into the spiral of, oh, I screwed up, so I might as well just have the pop now. It doesn't really matter. No, I just stopped. And then I found a way to set myself up for success. I ended up pouring the pop into another thing and then chewing on the ice, having some of the ice, because we were almost done and I didn't want to go up and get water and they were busy. But none of that matters. It was a screw up. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't even conscious, and I moved on quickly. And I didn't just I may have stumbled, and it was very habitual stumble, but I didn't let it spiral me into just to keep going, which is what I often find my clients do. Okay, so the second time, I'm on a board at church. We were serving fellowship goodies after church, and one of my fellow board members had his wife make these oatmeal. They're like oatmeal raisin cookies, but she had like oatmeal dates, and I couldn't believe my oldest, who's super picky about stuff, she wanted to try them. She said they look so good. She tried them. She loved them. And then she was giving them to her grandma, and she was giving them to her siblings. She was giving it to her dad. She's like, you got to try these. These are so good. And we ended up taking some of them home because everybody else loved them so much. And my curiosity got the better of me. You know how cookies are. We put them in the freezer so they last a little bit longer, but they're just never as good as when they're fresh. And so I wanted to try them. I wanted to see what they tasted like. I was really curious what she thought was so great about them and why everybody else seemed to love them. But so I made a very conscious decision that I was going to have this. And along with that, I decided I was just going to have one bite. I was going to have one bite so I could really taste it and get a good feeling for what made these cookies so great. And I did. That's all I had. I had one bite. And I was really good with my decision. I knew I was going to have to come back here and report to you guys, but I decided I wasn't going to be embarrassed by it. I really I wanted to understand what was going through her mind. And I think that's a good thing. Like, sometimes we use food to kind of connect, to understand the people around us better, but that doesn't mean we have to overconsume it. So I had a bite. Now, here's the crazy thing about all of this. Even though I made that decision, I felt really good about it. I knew the consequences of it. I knew I was going to have to come back here and report everything to all of you. I still had some sabotaging thoughts that wanted to pop up throughout the day. Now, I've done this work for a very long time where I've been very aware of what my brain wants to offer me, basically what the enemy is trying to deceive me with, that I kind of knew it was coming. I didn't think it was going to come on this strong, and I was able to recognize it, which is really what I help my clients do the most. Like, if you have awareness of something, you have authority over it. You can make a different decision. You can change it. And so, like I mentioned earlier, I have not had that many cravings for sweet things. But yesterday, it was a couple hours after I had that one bite of cookie, I wanted all these other things. My daughter had gone and baked with her friend and her friend's family, just because she loves to bake, and so she went with her. And she had brought home all these goodies, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should try that. No one will know. It's not a big deal. I've already had some, so a little more is not going to hurt. I've been doing so well. And all of these thoughts, they're not that bad, right? They seem so true and innocent, right? I call these innocent thoughts. They seem innocent. But they're deceptions. They're part truth and part lie. And really, the end goal of these, the enemy's been whispering these to you guys. He was whispering them to me yesterday. And the end goal of the enemy, by whispering these to us, is to break our relationship with ourselves and with God. See, when I challenge myself to this challenge, it was for me, but not to like lose weight, right? I've stressed this over and over again. This challenge for me was not about losing weight. It wasn't even necessarily about you guys. I just wanted to bring you along with me on this journey. What it was about was building my relationship with God. Like, how I thought about him and his influence in my life, and how much I was going to let him in to all the areas that I really needed to surrender myself to. And it was really about this relationship with that powerful spirit that we all have inside of us, that God has gifted us with. To really be successful in a challenge like this, and even if you're not in a challenge like this, any challenge that you're going to face, and you guys, weight loss, taking care of your tempo when you haven't for a while is a challenge. So any challenge that you face, first, you're going to need to work on what you believe. You're going to have faith that God's working, because you're not always going to see the immediate results, or you're not always going to get instant gratification. And you have to start working on that faith that God is giving you the strength. He wants you to succeed, that He has good planned even in the struggles. These are just a few beliefs, but there are so many beliefs that you need to hold on to successfully follow through in any challenge. And the enemy will start to whisper. He wants to break down those beliefs. He wants you to think you're not capable, that God doesn't want you to succeed. He's making it hard on you. Like, He wants you to believe that God is making this harder. That only terrible things will happen when the discomfort comes. You know, all that worry or feelings of deprivation, that's all the enemy right there. And keep with me here, because this is so important. This is what has drastically changed, and how I tap into more self-control than probably most of you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was there too. I was at a place where I felt like I had no self-control. And here's the deal. We don't have different amounts of self-control. We both have the same amount of self-control because it comes from the Spirit, but I have more access to it. I've learned how to access that self-control, to build that muscle of self-control. Look at what Satan was trying to do to me yesterday. It's not a big deal. Let's just take that one thought, because I would bet 99% of you have had this thought. After you've had a little bit, it's like, oh, let's just have more. It's not a big deal. And the truth is, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to food, it's not a big deal if you have a little bit more. But when it comes to having integrity with yourself, trusting God, it is a big deal. It is a big deal when you just never follow through on what you say you want to be doing for yourself. If I would have just kept eating that sugar yesterday, the enemy would have had a blast. He would have totally gone down the spiral of, see, you can't do this. You're not capable. You failed. You're such a failure, such an embarrassment. Look what you're going to have to say to all these women. And even though those are all lies, those lies are easier to believe when you don't trust yourself, when you haven't built a solid self-image in who God created you to be. When you don't trust yourself, I know for me, if I don't trust myself in who God created me to be and the powerful Spirit that is inside of me, when I don't feel good in the creation that God made me, I'm made in God's image just like you, that's when I look for quick fixes to like feel better, or to check out, to not have to deal with myself, to not have to think about it. Those quick fixes like food and social media and alcohol and all the things. Which is crazy, because those quick fixes, yeah, we may feel better in a moment, but they make us feel worse and worse and worse. And this is how the enemy keeps coming at us. Ladies, this battle with your bodies, feeling good in your skin, in this temple that God gave you, the root of the problem isn't what you eat or how much you exercise. The root of the problem is what you believe about you, who God made you to be, and the capabilities that He has equipped you with, and that Spirit inside of you that is giving you, making available to you all the fruit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. If you truly believe that you were capable, that God was giving you everything you need to love that temple and care for it, you would not be overweight. No, this battle, it starts in your mind. It's what you believe about God, about that spirit inside of you, about yourself, about food. All of those beliefs matter. And Satan is loving it if right now you're fixated on what you're not going to eat, or how much you're going to eat, or how you're going to exercise, work off everything you ate. If your brain is just so focused on that, or focused on how much you hate how you feel when you put on clothes, or how you step on the scale and it hasn't changed or it went up. If you're so fixated on that, it distracts you from learning why. Why do I keep doing what I don't want to be doing? Why do I keep eating when I don't need the fuel? Why do I just keep consuming when I am stressed, frustrated, bored, whatever it is? Again, ladies, it really isn't about what you eat, it's why you eat it. Why do you keep choosing the food? That's the first question you need to start getting really clear on. You keep choosing the food and keep overeating, over-consuming the food because there's some sort of lie that you're believing. Your body's not broken. You could totally do this. You are totally equipped. There's just something that needs to be cleaned up. A deception that needs to be gone. Let's clean those up. Okay, that was kind of a lot. This was a long one, but this is the core. This is what I want you to know. That if you work on believing God's truth, having a mind of the Spirit, which is life and peace, as it says in Romans, you can feel really great in your skin. You're going to start changing how you show up and how you act. And that is when it really lasts. Okay, if you really want to know more, like if you're questioning, like, what does she mean about these beliefs and how it influences what I eat? I don't get it. I don't see the connection. Tell me more, Amanda. I will post a link to a video below and you can check out more. Okay? So check out that video. In the meantime, I want to know how you guys are doing. How are you feeling? Are you still on this challenge with me? What do you think about my screw up? Because what you think about my screw up will give me a lot of insight into how to help you think about your screw ups. All right. We'll talk to you later this week. Bye, ladies.